My dear child, there is something I want to tell you today, and I need you to listen with your whole heart. Not just your ears, but that deep, quiet place inside you where truth actually lands and stays. The kind of place that does not lie to you. The kind of place that knows, even when your mind is arguing otherwise, that something needs to change. That something better is waiting. That you were made for more than the exhausting routine you have been calling your life. You are carrying something heavy right now. I can see it. Maybe others cannot see it. Maybe you smile in front of people and seem perfectly fine on the outside. Maybe you laugh at the right moments and say the right things and look like someone who has it all figured out. But when you are alone, when the room gets quiet, when the phone is down and the lights are off, you feel it. That heaviness, that tiredness, that hollow feeling that something is missing. Even when your hands are full of everything the world told you would make you happy. That feeling is not an accident. That is not weakness. That is not you being ungrateful or broken or difficult. That feeling, that persistent, quiet ache in the middle of your chest, that is me, calling you. Softly, lovingly, the way a father calls to his child who has wandered just a little too far from home and does not even realize how far they have gone. I am not calling you from far away. I am right here, closer than the air you are breathing right now. I have always been here, through every season, through every mistake, through every moment when you were sure that you were too far gone or too messed up or too tired to be worth anything anymore. I have been here, steady, patient, watching over you with a love so deep it would take 1,000 lifetimes to fully explain it. But today, right now, in this moment that you chose to sit down and listen, I need you to hear what I have been trying to say for a very long time. Come to me as you are, not as you wish you were, not as you pretend to be in front of other people, not with rehearsed words and practiced prayers that sound right but feel empty. Come to me with your confusion. Come to me with your fears. Come to me with the mistakes you are still ashamed of, and the habits you cannot seem to break, and the doubts that keep you awake at night. I am not waiting for a polished, perfect version of you to show up. I am waiting for the real you, the honest you, the tired you who is finally ready to stop pretending and just be completely, vulnerably still. You have spent so much time trying to approach me the right way that you have forgotten how to approach me the true way. You think I am looking for beautiful language and impressive consistency and a perfect track record of good decisions. I am not. I am looking at your heart, and your heart has been whispering things to me that your mouth has been too afraid to say out loud. I hear them all. Every unspoken word. Every secret fear, every prayer you started and then stopped because you were not sure I was really listening. I am always listening. If you feel confused today, say it. If you feel frustrated with where your life is, say it. If you feel far away from me, if you feel like the connection has gone cold and you do not even know how to warm it back up, tell me that too. Do not clean up your emotions before you bring them to me. Do not sort through them and only present the acceptable ones. Bring them all, messy and unresolved and raw. That is what I want. Your honesty is more precious to me than your performance. Your presence matters more to me than your polish. There is something else I want to address right away, because it is sitting right at the front of your thoughts, and it is quietly getting in the way of everything. You believe, somewhere deep down, that what I ask of you is hard. You have this quiet belief that following me means losing things, losing freedom, losing fun, losing the parts of your life that feel good and real, and like yours. That belief has been shaping the way you hold back from me, even when part of you genuinely wants to come closer. Let me correct that right now, clearly and gently. What I ask of you is not loss, it is alignment. And alignment does not shrink your life. It actually opens it up in ways you cannot imagine from where you are standing right now. When the choices you make line up with the person you truly are at your core, there is a kind of clarity that comes that no amount of achievement or approval can manufacture. When the way you live matches what you actually believe, there is a stability that holds you steady even when everything around you is shaking. That is what I am inviting you into. Not restriction, not a smaller life, a truer one. Look at your days honestly. Look at how you have been spending your time and your energy and your attention. Does the way you live actually reflect what you say you care about? If it does not, that gap between what you value and how you live is the source of a great deal of your inner tension. You are not at peace because you are trying to live in two directions at once. And the kindest thing I can do for you is tell you the truth about that, because I love you too much to let you keep drifting and wondering why nothing feels settled. Begin with small, honest steps. You do not have to transform everything overnight. I am not asking you to wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. I am asking you to begin. Begin with sincerity. Begin with one honest conversation with me. Begin with one small decision that moves you toward alignment instead of away from it. That is enough for today. I will meet you there, and I will build from there with you. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now let us talk about something that you do not often slow down enough to examine: your attention. Where it goes, what it feeds on, how easily it gets pulled away from the things that actually matter. You live in a world that is designed to steal your focus. Every notification, every scroll, every alert is engineered by someone whose goal is to keep your eyes locked onto a screen and your thoughts scattered in 100 directions. And it is working. You feel it, the way your mind jumps from one thing to the next without ever fully landing anywhere. The way you can sit in a quiet room and still not actually experience any quiet, because the noise is all happening inside your head. That mental restlessness is not just a personality trait. It is a symptom of a spirit that has been pulled too thin for too long. When your attention is constantly fragmented, your ability to hear me weakens. I am not a loud, dramatic voice that interrupts your day with a shout. I speak in the quiet. I speak in the stillness. I speak in that gentle inner knowing that rises up when the noise finally settles. If the noise never settles, you will keep missing what I am saying. And then you will wonder why you feel disconnected from me, not realizing that the disconnection is not because I moved. It is because the world trained you to stay distracted. Protecting your attention is a spiritual act. Choosing to put the phone down and sit in silence for even a few minutes is a spiritual act. Deciding not to fill every empty moment with noise and stimulation is a spiritual act. It is you saying, I want to be present. I want to hear. I want to be available to what is deeper and more real than the constant stream of content competing for my eyes. Start creating small pockets of intentional stillness in your day. Not long, complicated rituals, just moments. A few minutes in the morning before you pick up your phone. A few minutes at night before you fall asleep. Moments where you are not consuming anything, not producing anything, just being present. Those moments are where I reach you most clearly. Those are the moments that change the texture of your whole day. There is also a kind of noise that does not come from outside. It comes from inside your own mind. The constant replaying of old conversations. The rehearsing of future arguments that have not even happened yet. The spinning of worst-case scenarios that drain your energy before you have even gotten out of bed. That internal noise is just as disruptive as the external kind, and it requires its own kind of discipline. When your thoughts begin to spiral into worry, do not just let them run. Interrupt them. Gently but firmly redirect your mind. Say to yourself, "This is not helpful right now. Bring that anxious energy to me," instead of feeding it with more speculation. You are not suppressing your emotions when you do that. You are stewarding your mind. You are taking responsibility for what you allow to occupy your mental space. And that responsibility is part of the partnership I am inviting you into. Your mind is a powerful thing. It shapes the way you see every situation, every relationship, every opportunity. If your mind is constantly cluttered with fear and comparison and distraction, it will color everything you look at with those same shadows. But a mind that is regularly brought back to peace, that is regularly surrendered to my care, that is regularly reminded of what is true, that mind becomes a different kind of instrument. It becomes clear. It becomes discerning. It becomes the kind of mind that can hear a gentle whisper in a loud room and know exactly where it is coming from. Guard your focus like it is one of the most valuable things you own, because it is. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit our Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. And now, my dear child, I want to speak to you about something that might surprise you. The greatest changes in your life, the ones that actually last, the ones that shift not just your circumstances, but the very quality of your days, they never start on the outside. They always start within you. You have been waiting for the right external conditions to arrive before you give yourself permission to feel peaceful, to feel purposeful, to feel like your life is actually going somewhere meaningful. You are waiting for the finances to stabilize, waiting for the relationship to improve, waiting for the opportunity to appear. And meanwhile, the interior work that would actually prepare you for all of those things keeps getting postponed. Peace that depends on your circumstances is like a house built on sand. The moment the weather changes, the house shakes. But peace that is rooted in alignment with me, peace that comes from knowing who you are, and whose you are regardless of what is happening around you. That kind of peace holds steady even in the middle of storms that should logically destroy it. That is the peace I am offering you, and it is only available from the inside out. Start paying attention to your thought patterns, not in a harsh, self-critical way, but in an honest, curious way. Notice where negativity has quietly made itself at home in your thinking. Notice where you have started expecting the worst without even realizing it. Notice where hope has thinned out and been replaced by a kind of resigned cynicism that you call realism. Bring those areas into the light. Do not be ashamed of them. Just acknowledge them, and then invite me into them deliberately. When your thinking begins to shift, your reactions shift with it. When your reactions shift, the way people experience you shifts. When the way people experience you shifts, your relationships begin to change. When your relationships change, your environment responds. It is all connected, and it all begins with the invisible work happening in the quiet interior of your heart and mind right now. Choose gratitude instead of automatic complaint. This is harder than it sounds, because complaint can become so habitual that you do not even notice you are doing it anymore. It just becomes the background music of your inner life. Choosing gratitude is not denying that hard things exist. It is refusing to let the hard things have the final word. It is training your eyes to look for what is still good, still present, still worth being thankful for, even on the days when you have to look a little harder to find it. Choose forgiveness instead of rehearsing old offenses. There are people in your story who hurt you, Some of them knew exactly what they were doing. Some of them had no idea. But you have been carrying the weight of those wounds for a long time, turning them over in your mind, feeling the pain of them fresh again each time. Forgiveness is not pretending those things did not happen. It is making a decision to stop letting them have power over your present. It is releasing the weight so that you can walk forward without being bent under it. These internal choices are not dramatic. They do not look impressive from the outside, but they are the most decisive things you can do. Make them consistently, day after day, and you will look back in a year and be amazed at the distance you have traveled. Before we go further, I want to pause and say something important. If this message is reaching your heart today, if something you have heard is stirring something real inside you, please do not keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel right now so that you never miss a message like this one. There are people in your life who need to hear exactly what you are hearing. Share this with them. You never know whose life might be changed by the very words that are changing yours today. Subscribe, share, and let us keep walking this journey together. Now, my dear child, let us talk about the weight you have been carrying. Not just the stress of daily life, though that is very real. I am talking about something deeper. The accumulated heaviness of regret mixed with responsibility. The pressure of expectations. Some spoken, most unspoken, that you feel you must somehow always be meeting. The memories that still sting when they surface unexpectedly. The decisions you second guess long after the moment has passed. You have grown so accustomed to this weight that you have started thinking of it as normal. You assume that this is just what being an adult feels like. This constant low-level tension. This nagging awareness of everything that is unfinished or imperfect or at risk. But I need you to hear this clearly. You were never designed to carry all of this alone. Not one part of it. You were not made to process regret in isolation. You were not built to shoulder every expectation without relief. The human spirit was designed for connection, for support, for the deep rest that comes from knowing that you are not the only one holding the weight of your life. When you try to carry everything independently, your patience thins, your joy fades, your capacity for wonder shrinks, and eventually, you find yourself just going through the motions of a life that no longer feels alive. I want something different for you. Bring that weight to me, and when I say bring it, I mean something specific. Not vague general prayers that hand everything to me in a big undifferentiated cloud. Be specific. Name what is actually weighing on you. Say out loud, or in the quiet of your own heart, this is what I regret. This is what I am afraid of. This is what is exhausting me. This is what I cannot figure out on my own. Give it a name, make it real, and then genuinely set it down. This is where many people get stuck. They bring their burdens to me in prayer, feel a brief sense of relief, and then 5 minutes later they have mentally picked them back up again. They are still calculating, still worrying, still trying to work out the solution on their own, even as they claim to have given it over. That pattern does not give you rest. It just gives you a slightly guilty feeling of control. When you surrender something to me, commit to leaving it with me. Not perfectly, because your mind will wander back. But when it does, gently remind yourself, I already placed this in hands far more capable than mine. I do not need to pick it back up. That is not denial. That is not ignoring the problem. That is choosing to trust that I am actually working on what you cannot see, moving pieces you do not have access to, caring for the outcome with a wisdom and a love that goes far beyond your most careful planning. There is also a specific kind of weight I want to address, one that you might not have named as a burden because it has been so constant for so long. It is the weight of other people's expectations and opinions. You have been measuring your worth against standards that were set by other people, standards that shift depending on who is in the room, standards that you can never fully meet because they were never actually about you in the first place. You have been living under the quiet tyranny of needing to be approved of, and it has been costing you enormous amounts of energy that you could be using for something so much more meaningful. Your worth is not located in other people's opinions of you. It never was. Your identity is grounded in something so much more stable than the fluctuating perceptions of people who are themselves trying to figure out their own lives. You were made by me, known completely by me, and loved unconditionally by me. That is the anchor. That is where your sense of self belongs. Not in how many people are impressed by you, not in whether you manage to avoid disappointing anyone this week, not in the comparison you make every time you see someone else's life appearing more successful or more beautiful or more together than your own. Let go of the pressure to manage everyone else's perception of you. That is an exhausting and ultimately impossible task. Instead, ask yourself a simpler, cleaner question. Am I living in a way that aligns with my deepest convictions? If yes, rest in that. If no, make an adjustment. But let the adjustment be toward your own integrity, not toward someone else's approval. That shift from people-pleasing to genuine alignment is one of the most freeing things that can happen in a human life. Walk lighter. I mean that literally as well as spiritually. Release what was never yours to carry. Stop bending under weight that belongs on my shoulders, not yours. And as you do, you will feel something remarkable. Space. Space inside you where the heaviness used to live. Space for peace. Space for creativity. Space for the quiet joy that has been waiting patiently for the clutter to clear so it can actually breathe. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support, my dear child. I also need to speak honestly with you about something that you might find uncomfortable to hear. You have been living on autopilot. Not always, and not in every area, but in enough areas that it matters. You move through your days reacting rather than choosing. You let the urgency of whatever is loudest determine where your energy goes. You say yes to things you should decline, and you delay the things that actually matter most. And you tell yourself that one day, when things slow down, when the right moment comes, you will finally make the deeper changes you know you need to make. But the right moment does not come the way you are waiting for it to arrive. It does not show up like a perfect open window with a warm breeze and no other demands on your time. It shows up like this, like a message that lands in a moment you almost skipped, like a quiet stirring in a soul that has been running too fast for too long, like an unexpected pause in the noise where something true manages to reach you. This is that moment. Right now. Do not waste it by resolving to act later. Later is where good intentions go to disappear. The gap between inspiration and action is where transformation either begins or dies. I am asking you to close that gap today, not with dramatic gestures, not with an overwhelming overhaul of everything at once, just one step, one honest acknowledgement of where you have been drifting, one small, concrete decision to move differently starting now. Think about one area of your life where you know you have been coasting, where you have been telling yourself that you are working on it, or that it is not that bad, or that you will deal with it eventually. Bring that area into focus right now. Do not look away from it. See it clearly. And then ask yourself what one thing you could do in the next 24 hours that would move you toward genuine change, rather than more comfortable delay. That one thing is your starting point. Everything else can wait, but that one thing cannot, because the longer you postpone the beginning, the heavier the beginning feels. And the heavier it feels, the easier it becomes to keep postponing. Break that cycle today. One step, one honest move. I will meet you there with everything you need to take the next one. Now I want to tell you something about love. About my love for you specifically. Because I know, even if you would not say it out loud, that there is a part of you that is not fully sure of it. There is a part of you that believes my love for you is conditional in some way. That it depends on your consistency, your performance, your ability to maintain a certain standard. That when you stumble, something shifts in how I feel about you. That when you go through seasons of doubt or distance or failure, my affection cools somewhat, even if just a little. I need to address this directly, because that belief is quietly shaping everything. It is making you cautious in the way you approach me. It is making you hide the parts of yourself that you think are unacceptable. It is causing you to perform spirituality rather than experience it, because you are unconsciously afraid that if you let me see the real, unedited version of you, I might decide you are too much trouble or not worth the investment. Listen carefully now. My love for you is not fragile. It does not fluctuate based on your spiritual ups and downs. It is not withdrawn when you stumble and restored when you recover. It does not operate on a point system where enough good days earn back what the bad days cost. That is human love at its most conditional, and even the best human love falls short of that standard sometimes. But I am not governed by the limitations of human consistency. When you fail, I do not step away from you. I move closer. When you doubt, I do not withdraw my presence. I lean in. When you go through seasons of spiritual dryness, where prayer feels hollow and faith feels thin, and you wonder if any of this is even real, I am there, steady and present and completely unchanged in my commitment to you. You are not tolerated by me. You are genuinely, deeply, permanently treasured. Say this quietly to yourself right now. I am loved, not when I improve, not when I get it right, not when I finally become the version of myself that I keep promising to work toward. Now, exactly as I am in this moment, with everything unresolved and everything imperfect, and everything still in process. I am loved now. Let that land somewhere real inside you. Do not rush past it. Do not qualify it with a list of reasons why you are not sure it can be true for you specifically. Just receive it. Let it settle into the parts of you that have been quietly hungry for that assurance for a very long time. When you truly believe that you are loved without condition, something fundamental shifts in the way you live. You stop striving for approval and start responding from gratitude. You stop approaching every challenge as a test you might fail and start facing it as a growth opportunity, held within the safety of a relationship that cannot be broken. You stop hiding your weaknesses and start bringing them forward, because you know that your weaknesses do not change how I see you. They just reveal where you need my strength, and I am always ready to give it. Live from love, not toward it. That single shift will change the texture of your entire spiritual life. My dear child, the world you live in is extraordinarily noisy, and I do not just mean sound. I mean noise in the form of opinions, expectations, comparisons, and competing definitions of what a successful and meaningful life is supposed to look like. From every direction, voices are telling you what you should want, who you should be, what you should measure your progress against. And most of those voices are not trying to help you. They are trying to sell you something, an identity, a standard, a version of life that keeps you perpetually just slightly dissatisfied enough to keep buying. I want you to recognize what is happening so that you can stop being swept along by it. You are more influenced by what you consume than you realize. The content you absorb daily is shaping your expectations, your self-perception. your sense of what is normal and what is possible. If what you are consuming most consistently is leaving you feeling anxious, inadequate, resentful, or restless, that is not a coincidence. It is cause and effect. You have the ability to choose more deliberately what you allow into your mind and heart. That is not about building an unrealistic bubble of only positive input. It is about being an intentional steward of your own inner life. Ask yourself honestly whether what you are regularly watching, reading, listening to, and engaging with is moving you toward the person you want to become, or away from them. Be honest, and then be willing to make adjustments based on that honesty, even when the adjustments are inconvenient. The world offers you an endless supply of comparison. Everyone else's highlight reel displayed in perfect lighting, creating the constant impression that everyone except you has figured something out that you are still missing. That comparison is poison. It robs you of the ability to appreciate your own story, your own progress, your own unique and irreplaceable path. Because your path is not supposed to look like anyone else's. It is yours. I designed it specifically for the person you are and the purpose you carry. To constantly measure it against someone else's is to miss its beauty entirely. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not a disappointment. You are exactly in the season you are supposed to be in, learning exactly what you need to learn right now, being shaped by exactly the experiences that will form the character you will need for what comes next. Trust the timing of your own story. Stop looking sideways at someone else's chapter and wondering why yours does not look the same. Now let us talk about the future, because I know it weighs on you. You think about it often. You imagine different versions of how things might unfold. You try to calculate and plan and control outcomes enough to protect yourself from disappointment. There is wisdom in thoughtful planning. But there is a point where planning tips over into anxious striving, where your need to secure your own future becomes a kind of quiet declaration that you do not actually trust me to be involved in it. Some things about your future cannot be engineered by strategy. They can only be received through trust and alignment. You cannot manufacture genuine peace. You cannot force meaningful connection. You cannot produce real fulfillment through business and effort alone. These things grow from a life that is lived in genuine partnership with me. And that partnership requires that you hold your plans a little more loosely, that you leave room for the unexpected redirects that often turn out to be the best parts of the story. I am already working on things you cannot see. Relationships are being positioned. Opportunities are being shaped. Lessons are being allowed that will build in you a resilience you will need later. If you try to seize control prematurely, if you force outcomes before they are ready, you risk disrupting something that was developing beautifully in the unseen. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active trust. It is continuing to do the right things, to grow, to stay faithful, while remaining genuinely open to the way things unfold, rather than only accepting the version you planned. Your job is faithfulness. My job is orchestration. Stay faithful to what is in front of you today. Excellence in the small things. Integrity in the hidden moments. Generosity when no one is watching. These things prepare you for everything that is coming. They build the kind of foundation that can actually bear the weight of what I want to place in your life. Rush the foundation, and the building will not stand. Take care of the foundation, and what is built on it will last. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. My dear child, let us speak now about decisions. Because one of the most persistent obstacles in your spiritual life is not doubt, and it is not difficulty. And it is not the complexity of your circumstances. It is delay. The habit of knowing what you need to do and choosing, day after day, not quite yet. Waiting for a better time. Waiting until you feel more ready. Waiting until the conditions are more favorable. But here is what I want you to understand about delay. Every time you delay a decision that your own conviction is telling you to make, you are not just postponing action. You are gradually eroding the clarity that made the decision feel necessary in the first place. Conviction fades if it is not acted on. The sharp awareness you feel in a moment of honest clarity gets duller each time you choose not to respond to it. This is why moments like this one matter so deeply. Not because they are the only opportunity you will ever have, but because the clarity you feel right now is real and present and available to you in a way that it might not be if you keep waiting. Decide today, not about everything, not in a way that overwhelms you, but about one thing. The one thing that keeps rising to the surface of your thoughts every time you slow down enough to listen. The one area where you have been hesitating the longest. That is the place to begin. That is the step that will break the pattern of delay and replace it with the momentum of genuine movement. When you make a real decision, not a wishful resolution but an actual, settled, I am done delaying decision, something shifts inside you. Your energy aligns. Your focus sharpens. Even your emotions begin to catch up to the clarity of your choice. That internal alignment is something I can build on. I can meet your decision with everything you need to carry it forward. But I cannot move on your behalf in an area where you have not yet decided to move. The choice has to come from you. This is part of what it means to be a full participant in your own life, rather than a spectator of it. You are not meant to sit back and wait for everything to be arranged for you. You are meant to engage, to step forward, to make the courageous choices that open the doors that cannot be opened any other way. And then, having made those choices, to trust me with what you cannot control. That combination, your faithful action and my faithful provision, is how the most remarkable things happen. Make the decision, then hold it firmly enough to let it actually change your behavior, not just your feelings for an afternoon. There is one more thing I want to say to you before we come to a close, and I want to say it as tenderly and directly as I possibly can. You matter to me more than you know. Not in a general, everyone matters kind of way, though that is also true. Specifically, individually, personally, you, with your particular history, and your specific fears, and your unique gifts, and your complicated story. You matter to me in a way that is impossible to overstate. When I look at you, I do not see a project that needs fixing. I see a person I am deeply invested in. I see potential that has barely been touched. I see gifts that have not yet found their full expression. I see a heart that, underneath all the layers of protection and performance and self-doubt, genuinely wants to live a life that means something. And I want to tell you, that desire is placed there by me. I put it there. And I do not put desires in people that I have no intention of helping them fulfill. The life you sense is possible. That quiet knowing that there is more available to you than what you have been experiencing, that sense is not wishful thinking. It is not naive optimism. It is an echo of the design I placed within you before you were born. It is a compass pointing toward what was always intended for your life. And I am asking you today, stop dismissing it. Stop explaining it away with practicality. Start taking it seriously enough to actually pursue it. You are not too old. You have not missed your window. Your past does not disqualify you from your future. The mistakes you keep replaying in your memory do not define what is still ahead of you. My purposes for your life are not canceled by your failures. They are not diminished by your doubts. They are not derailed by the seasons when you wandered. I am a God who redeems, who takes the broken and makes it whole, who takes the scattered and makes it purposeful, who takes the lost and leads them home. You are loved, you are known, you are held, and you are being called right now into a truer, deeper, more aligned version of yourself and your life. Say yes to that call, not out of fear, not out of obligation, but because somewhere deep inside you, in that honest, quiet place that does not lie, you already know it is exactly what you have been waiting for. And now, before I close, I want to say something to the heart that is still not quite sure whether to believe any of this is real, whether this message is actually for them, whether they are really the kind of person this kind of love is truly available to. Yes, it is for you. Exactly you. There is no asterisk. There is no condition that applies to your particular situation that makes you the exception. You are not the one person for whom this does not work. You are not beyond reach. You are not too complicated. You are not too far gone. You are right here, hearing these words, which means you are exactly where I want you to be right now. Take a slow breath. Feel the quiet around you, and in that quiet, let yourself receive what has been offered throughout this entire conversation, not just as information, as invitation, as a genuine, open, armed welcome into a life that is more than you have been settling for. I am here. I am not going anywhere. And everything we have talked about today, every word of it, is available to you. Not someday. Now this is your turning point. Not because the words were perfectly arranged, not because the moment feels dramatic or extraordinary, but because you showed up, you listened, and something inside you responded. Honor that response. Do not walk away from it unchanged. Begin today. Begin now. I will walk every step of this journey with you. You will not walk it alone. And every step you take toward alignment, toward honesty, toward the truer and deeper life that is calling to you, I will be there, strengthening you, guiding you, cheering you on with a love that will never, ever run out. This is not the end of something. This is the beginning of everything. If these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through the Ko-Fi or PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. My dear child, you have come so far in this conversation. You stayed when it felt uncomfortable. You listened when it challenged you. You let the truth settle into places that have been closed for a long time. And now, as we reach this final moment together, I want to leave you with something you will carry long after the words have faded. You were never meant to simply survive this life. You were made to truly live it. Not perfectly, not without struggle, not in a way that is free from difficulty or loss or seasons of deep uncertainty, but with a depth of purpose and a quality of presence and a steadiness of peace that makes even the hard things meaningful. That kind of life is available to you. It is built in the quiet, ordinary moments of sincere daily choices. It is built by showing up honestly, staying faithful when it is inconvenient, choosing trust when fear would be easier, and receiving love that you did not earn and cannot lose. You are standing at the beginning of something. I promise you, the direction you choose from this moment is far more important than the distance you have already traveled. One sincere step forward, taken today, is worth more than 1,000 planned steps that never happen. Take the step, make the choice, accept the love, walk in the alignment, and watch as the life I always designed for you begins to unfold in ways more beautiful than anything you could have engineered on your own. I love you, my dear child. I always have. I always will. Now go and live like you believe it.